This is MJOS from MJOS Sports, and today I want to talk about my playoff predictions for the NBA playoffs. I know it's kind of a day late, but for me, I really like to kind of test out what the playoffs are looking like. It's a 7-game series, so it's kind of okay to see that first game happen and then evaluate from there. There's obviously the obvious ones. We're going to start with Golden State and Houston. I thought Houston would play a little better, but they got destroyed, and I was originally going to give them 2 games where I thought Harden would, win some games for them, but I'm only going to give them 1 win, and I have Golden State easily winning 4-1. Maybe just a small win for Houston in Houston. The next series we have is LA and Portland. Currently they're actually playing right now, but after watching a half, the Clippers are obviously more dominant of a team, but I'm going to give Portland 2 games because I think Damian Lillard just has that firepower, and he's going to have a game or 2, just like Harden, where he goes off and you can't stop it. Next we have OKC and Dallas. That was embarrassing. OKC proved that they're going to sweep the Mavericks. I think they won by almost 40. Durant and Westbrook are trying to prove a point. Everybody's counting them out. Everyone says it's either San Antonio or Golden State, and nobody's mentioning OKC. Westbrook and Durant are going to try to prove everyone wrong there. I got the San Antonio-Memphis game. That's obviously, Memphis is not good. They are missing their 2 best players in Gasol and Conley. And the Spurs are just too good of a team to let games slip in the playoffs. They're not going to let Vince Carter or Zach Randolph go off for 40 and lose a game. They're going to easily sweep Memphis. And then to the East, first series we have is Cleveland and Detroit. Detroit was actually a little shocking today. They played a lot better than anyone expected, and their young talent really showed up in Cleveland and made it a real game. Unfortunately, they're not good enough in my eyes, and you got LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love on Cleveland. So it's going to be a 4-1 series. Detroit might win one back home in Detroit in front of their fans. But other than that, they're a young and evolving team, and that's where the future is going to look good for them, but it's just not happening this year. And then one of my favorite series is Atlanta and Boston, where I know Atlanta won game 1, but I really think Boston's going to pull the upset and win the series 4-3 in Game 7 in Atlanta. I just think they're coached really well. Isaiah Thomas plays really well now. He's starting to play really good, averages around 20 points a game. He can really pass the ball. And Atlanta's always just been a little disappointing in the playoffs in the recent years. So I'm going to take Boston in that series because of coaching and just young talent, winning a big series. There has to be one shocker in the playoffs, I feel like, in the first round. And then we got Miami and Charlotte. Originally, I thought Charlotte, might have a little chance. They're a decent team. They've had a really good season. They've been, somewhere in that middle range of the East all year. But today, Miami came out and kind of showed who Miami is and, why they're such a good organization and why they're so well coached. I think it's going to be a sweep for Miami. And if they get 2 wins in Miami, they're going to go to Charlotte and just close out the series. Kemba Walker didn't show up today. They're just not showing the fire that they need to win a series. And last but not least, probably my second favorite series of the first round is Toronto and Indiana. I feel bad for Toronto. Every year they get knocked out first round, and then again this year, first game at home in front of a great crowd, they lose. Lowry and DeRozan, I think combined made 8 shots, like 8 for 40 almost. It's not the formula they wanted. And Indiana took that game behind Paul George, who, he's having a great comeback season off his injury. But I think Game 7 at home in Toronto will pull it off. They got Lowry and DeRozan. They had great years. The All-Star game in Toronto, it was just a big hype year for them. The number 2 seed behind Cleveland. It's not easy to get. So I'm going to take Toronto in a small margin against Indiana, Game 7 at home. But those definitely are my 2 favorite series, Atlanta and Boston, to keep your eyes out on. I think the rest of the series are going to be pretty easy slides. But after the first round, I'll make my second round predictions, and I'll fill you guys in on what I think there. Thanks for watching.